very young girl who lived in a town close to her church, a very devoted Christian, loved by her neighbors. She was a very pretty young girl who worked in the house of God until one day Priska never knew that her pastor was in love with her. Till this very day, as a devoted Christian and someone who has a melodious voice, she decided to join the choir in her church. In the church, they normally had their choir practice every Saturdays, and their pastor, Pastor Kevin, never misses to pray with the choir members, and after, he used to shower praises on some of the members, and Priska was always one of them. He would always praise this Priska's dressing, but she never knew that her pastor was secretly admiring her. One day, Priska was at work when her phone rang, and it was Pastor Kevin. She was surprised and wondered why Pastor Kevin was calling her, and why it was not his PA. Priska asked herself, and when she picked the call, he asked her whereabouts, and Priska told him, and he said that the Holy Spirit instructed her to go and get him food during lunchtime and bring it to his office. And he went ahead and sent Priska money for food and thousand. Priska didn't want to go against the Holy Spirit, so she went as Pastor Kevin instructed. When Priska got to his office, he asked her where she worked and how much her salary was, and Priska told him everything. And he then proceeded and said, "My secretary would be going back to school. If you are interested, you can take her position," said Pastor Kevin, and he would pay her double of whatever she was receiving at her current place of work. Priska was so happy and took the offer with no hesitation. When Priska was leaving his office that day, he gave her a huge sum of money for free just for buying him lunch. She thanked him and left. The next week, Priska started working for her pastor. Pastor Kevin started coming to the office with gifts for every workers in the building, including the gate man. Priska's gift pack was always special. The way he showered her with gifts every day in the office, Priska started falling for him. One fateful day, Priska came to the office, and Pastor Kevin sent everyone away from the office. He told them that the Holy Spirit told him to tell them to go, that he wants to see the whole church building with prayers. They all believed him and left, leaving Priska alone in the building. Priska was in the building, not knowing that every other person in the building had left. Pastor Kevin called Priska to come to his office, and when she got there, he said to her to stretch her hand toward him, and Priska did as Pastor Kevin instructed. Priska thought that he wanted to pray for her. He took his hand and placed it on his manhood that was already very strong, and Priska was shocked and removed her hand immediately. And he said to her, "Sister Priska, this is exactly what you do to me anytime I set my eyes on you. I have fallen deeply in love with you," said Pastor Kevin. He continued to say, "I can no longer control it." But what Pastor Kevin didn't know that Priska had already started falling for him. He kissed Priska so passionately in his office that very day. And one thing led to another, and Priska held herself and went back to her office. The next day, Pastor Kevin went to Priska's office, and he told her that he wasn't able to sleep last night. He continued to say that the Holy Spirit told him to stop, but he can't stop. That day, they went ahead and booked a beautiful hotel, and lodged, and that was the best sexual experience Priska had ever had, which no man have ever handled her the way Pastor Kevin did that day. And after their moments, Pastor Kevin went back home, but Priska remained there. After that night with Pastor Kevin, they officially started dating. He became so obsessed with Priska, even in the office. Anytime Priska's phone rings, he would ask who called her. Before Priska started working for her pastor, there was a guy that has been asking her out, and his name was Tony. She accepted him, but they have not had anything intimacy. So one day in the office, Tony kept calling Priska. Immediately, Pastor Kevin rushed into her office and started shouting at her, saying that he had heard her phone ringing and who called her. And Priska innocently told him about the guy, Tony. He flamed up and started saying that Priska can't date any other guy, that he was a jealous lover, and as a man of God, that he can't share his food with anybody. And when Priska asked him what he meant by that, he repeated what he said, and Priska asked him and said, "You are a married man with 3 kids, and I'm sharing you with your wife. Then why shouldn't I be in a relationship with a single guy?" said Priska. But Pastor Kevin kept quiet. That the same day in the office, after the argument, Priska started dating Tony secretly. But the problem was that anytime Priska was with Tony, she would be thinking about Pastor Kevin. And before she had any intimacy with Tony, she had to picture her experience with Pastor Kevin in her head before she could enjoy the moments with Tony. Tony was not too good like that, just like Pastor Kevin. When Pastor Kevin noticed that Priska was still talking to Tony, he stopped talking to Priska but was still sending gifts to her. Priska was confused and miserable and asked herself, how can he be showing her love but don't speak to her? Then one day she went to his office to ask for forgiveness, and Pastor Kevin forgave her and they had intercourse the second time, and this time around Priska enjoyed more than the first one. After the intimacy, Pastor Kevin asked her to end the relationship with Tony, and Priska accepted and ended the relationship with Tony because he wasn't treating her the way Pastor did. He has no money, and he was still not good as Pastor Kevin was on the other room. Days later, Priska broke up with Tony. She concentrated with Pastor Kevin. No form of distraction. Even Pastor Kevin knew she was serious with him. That month, 2 members gifted Pastor Kevin 2 brand new cars one Sunday in the presence of everybody in the church, including Pastor Kevin's wife. He awarded one of the cars to Priska as the best worker of the year and gave the other one to the assistant pastor. In the church, they were congratulated by the church members, and just like that, Priska became a car owner. Her house rent was being paid by Pastor Kevin. He gave her money that she sent to her family. He doesn't disturb her for sex like that. The relationship was going well, and Priska was enjoying herself. Not until one rich, handsome guy and also a member of their church noticed Priska and became interested in her. His name was Samson. Samson was a rich, handsome guy who deals with motor spare parts. He wants to settle down, and he has been looking for a good girl to marry until he set his eyes on Priska. He proposed to her and Priska accepted, but Priska don't know how to tell Pastor Kevin. She was afraid because Pastor Kevin was a jealous lover. So Priska started going out with Samson, and she noticed that Samson was also good in the other room, but not as good as the Pastor Kevin. 4 months into their relationship, Samson decided to visit Priska at her office. He brought food and drinks for her. Then after he left, Pastor Kevin came to ask Priska who the guy was. that his face looks familiar, and Priska told him that he was one of the church members that was asking her out. And Pastor Kevin shouted and said, "What?" Then warned Priska never to accept him, but she ignored him. 6 months into their relationship, Samson went to Pastor Kevin to told him that there was a lady in the church that he wanted to get married to, and he requested for Pastor Kevin to pray and ask the Holy Spirit if the lady was right person for him. And this is the beginning of the trouble. Pastor Kevin asked him about the lady, and Samson said, "Priska, you are secretary." And Pastor Kevin told him not to worry, that they will pray about it. And he congratulated Samson. Pastor Kevin continued to ask Samson questions like, how long have they known each other? And Samson said 6 months, and Pastor Kevin said, okay, no problem. He congratulated him once again. That day at the office, it was fire. Pastor Kevin went to Priska's office and was asking Priska that so she have been dating Samson for 6 months and you lied to him about it. He said to Priska, has he touched you? And Priska responded, no. He now said to her, don't lie to me, and repeated the question. And Priska said, yes. And Pastor Kevin said, what? And asked her, what is it that he gives you that I don't give you? Is it sex, money, or attention? How can you betray me like this? Even Judas didn't go this far. Priska allowed Pastor Kevin to finish, and she began to talk. She said, Pastor, where are you thinking? Do you think that what we have will last forever? Dating over a year now. I'm a 30 years old and I need to get married and have a family. Pastor Kevin looked at Priska and said that she was very heartless. That even if she wants to get married, must it be his church member? He also said that Priska is supposed to give him 1 year notice before dating anybody, that she can't just break up with him like that. And Priska told him that she was not breaking up with him. Soon, that was why she kept the relationship to Samson secret. And Pastor Kevin said never, that he can't let Samson have her. And he proceeded to say that after all, Samson don't even have money or anything valuable to offer Priska. Priska proceeded and said, Pastor, please, we can't date forever. I need to start making plans for my future too. That day, when Priska got home, that day, she received a text message from Pastor Kevin that Priska should stop coming to work, that he has gotten a new secretary and he doesn't want to see her again in the choir on the Sundays, and also avoid the choir leader. Priska became angry and wondered why a man of God would be behaving like that. Priska asked herself, have I not tried? 2 weeks later, Priska didn't go to church and Pastor Kevin didn't bother to call her. The next thing, she started missing Pastor Kevin. The next day, she went to her boyfriend's house, Samson, to spend days with him to know whether she would focus on her new relationship. But it didn't work. She kept thinking of Pastor Kevin, especially all the gifts and the sex, as if Pastor Kevin bewitched her. She didn't know what to do. Ordinary 2 weeks without seeing Pastor Kevin, and Priska was losing it already. She couldn't hold it anymore, and she started messaging Pastor Kevin, begging him to come and see her. But Pastor Kevin didn't respond. She had to send him some of her nude pictures and videos before Pastor Kevin responded. But the problem now was that Priska's boyfriend was very serious about getting married to her, but she can't get Pastor off her head. Guys, this is the end of this amazing story. What advice do you have for Priska? As it is now, Priska is planning to relocate to another state, Let me see your thoughts on the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel at African Tales by Ifenkili. Like and share with family and friends. Turn on your notification button and stay tuned for more interesting and mind-blowing stories coming your way next time. Guys, remain blessed. Bye.